This is the Unbroken Protocol podcast. Now press play. And
Welcome back to the Unbroken Protocol. I'm Abraham Spring, and today is episode 8. Wellness or Addiction? The dark psychology of health tracking. Let me tell you a little story. When I wake up, and before I even rub my eyes, I reach for my phone to check how well I slept. Not to see if I feel rested, I check a number. Let me tell you how this started for me. I got Whoop and subscribed for a year. My goal? To improve my performance. But here's what actually happened. Every single day, I found myself studying my HRV, obsessing over my recovery practices, analyzing how much REM and deep sleep I've gotten. I would wake up the next morning and immediately look at these metrics. How recovered am I? What's my HRV? What's my deep sleep? How much REM did you get? And here's the twisted part. Rather than actually working on my habits and patterns to improve things, I was just waking up and looking at my scores. If it said I was recovered, then I would move like I'm good. If it said I wasn't recovered, I'd drag myself throughout the day. The data was dictating how I felt, not the other way around. Does this sound familiar? We live in an age where health apps and wearables claim to improve our wellness. Yet, they hook us with the same tricks that social media and casinos use. The colorful rings, street counters, and kudos are not just cute features. They're psychological levers designed to keep us compulsively checking and chasing validation. If you've ever felt anxious because your fitness tracker died mid-workout or your run didn't count since it wasn't recorded, you're not alone. I've experienced this, and many in the fitness community have. In fact, there's a half joke, half truth. If it doesn't track it, it doesn't count. What started as a genuine health monitoring has morphed into something far more insidious. A game where we perform for the metrics instead of our well-being. Today, I want to peel back the shiny wellness veneer and talk about the dark psychology of health tracking. How our beloved apps hijack our instincts, how I fell into this trap as an athlete, and how we can reclaim a healthier balance. When health tech plays mind games, this addictive design, these tracking tools know exactly what they're doing. They claim to promote wellness, but they often mimic the hooks of a video game or a social media platform. There's a reason you get a little dopamine rush when you see a high score or a full streak. It's by design. These aren't accidents. They're features borrowed from the playbook of apps and games designed to maximize engagement. Think about it. Streaks, leaderboard, constant notification reminding you to move or log your activity. These are classic techniques used to create habit loops. Fitness companies have effectively turned exercise into a point scoring competition. In theory, that sounds fun and motivating, but here's the dark twist. The game never ends. There's always another day to log, another stat to beat, another badge to collect. Instead of feeling content with a healthy workout, we're immediately nudged to chase the next metric. When it comes to streaks and rings, ever pushed yourself to exercise every single day just to keep the streak alive? I once jogged laps in my living room, I'm not joking, just to get my 10k steps so I wouldn't break my streak and close my loop. Streaks reward consistency, but often at a cost of listening to your body's need for rest. Missing a day feels like a failure. Even if your body desperately needs a break, you might be sick, injured, or simply exhausted. But that little voice whispers, don't break the chain. It's no longer about your health, it's about appeasing the algorithm. When it comes to points and scores, many trackers distill your day into a single score. A readiness rating, a sleep quality percentage, a recovery number. It shifts us from intrinsic motivation, working out because it feels good, to extrinsic validation, working out to get a good score. Health becomes homework. I've caught myself doing extra sets in the gym, not because I needed them, but because my fitness app hadn't logged enough volume to beat last week's stats. The question stops being, what does my body need? And becomes, what does the app want? This is social validation. If you use apps like Strava, you know the addictive hit of a kudos. Thumbs up on a run. It's fitness meets social media. I remember finishing a brutal ride that completely wiped me out. Yet the first thing I did was upload it to Strava. Why? I was chasing kudos more than endorphins. There's a saying, if it's not on Strava, it didn't happen. We've started doing workouts for the audience, not for ourselves. Every upload becomes a performance. Every activity, a post waiting for validation. Here's a personal tale when tracking took over my life. The never-ending race for data. During one ride, I remember this one. It hit me really hard. You see, I go around Regent's Park quite often, and I have a favorite segment of mine, and it's the 250-meter sprint, 250-meter sprint. Of course, because I'm explosive, this is an area that I excel in. But my GPS had died. Now, I know I got the fastest time in that one. I know because I had passed everybody. But it didn't count. And I remember coming off the bike, infuriated, because I didn't get to capture it. So rather than actually having that metric in my own personal experience, I was disappointed. To be honest, it gets even worse. I once attempted a 1 rep max on a deadlift on my day off, just so I can post it on Strava saying heavy lift, no days off, glorifying this whole grind culture. Through these experiences, I learned tracking can turn you into a performer, acting out the role of a healthy person, achieving goals for an audience, rather than actually being present in your own health journey. The paradox of this is the needing to check versus learning to feel. Here's one of the strongest ironies. We've started doubting our own feelings about our own bodies, and instead we trust a gadget. Take sleep. In the past, you woke up and you knew if you slept well by sensing your energy. Now, we scrutinize a sleep score. I've had mornings where I felt perfectly fine until I saw the poor sleep rating. Suddenly I started second guessing myself. Only 72%? Quality? How so? Do I feel tired? Maybe I do. They even have a name for this. Orthosomnia. When you become obsessed with perfecting your sleep metrics, that you actually develop insomnia about sleep. The tool meant to help you relax ends up stressing you out. I felt this with heart rate variability, HRV, tracking. If the number was low, I'd worry, why am I not recovered? What did I do wrong? That would raise my stress, which would keep my HRV low the next day. A vicious cycle. My mood at breakfast was decided by a number I saw before my morning coffee. We're at this point where we're trusting external indicators over internal indicators. We live for closing the loop instead of listening to the loop between our mind and body. As one guide on HRV put it, when mood, effort, or self-worth rises and falls with the app, the data is ruling you. Now let's talk about this big one, validation economy, kudos, competition, and comparison. Social fitness platforms like Strava turn exercise into a public performance. Every run you log is visible to followers. There are leaderboards, monthly challenges, and a kudos button. On the surface, it's fun, but it has a dark side, competition and ego. I've literally changed my running route to chase a com on a Strava segment, even though I love running far more than trying to com anything. I'm fast and I love going fast because of the feeling, not to be seen. But there I was, altering my route for a digital crown. It's easy to see how gamifying exercise can push people beyond their comfort zones in ways that aren't always healthy. And the curation of image. People will name their runs things like easy recovery run, feeling sick today, just to preempt judgment for a slower pace. We're curating our workout data the same way we curate our social media posts, carefully managing how we appear to others. External validation as motivation now, the kudos becomes a hit of approval. It's a social media feedback loop, transplanted into fitness. I've seen someone run their first marathon, a huge achievement, but instead of celebrating, they immediately focused on their finish time in comparison to others. The personal meaning gets drowned out by the numbers and comparisons. These platforms create what we might call a validation economy. We're trading in likes, comments, and comparative status. The challenge is finding the balance between healthy motivation and unhealthy anxiety. Now, I don't want this to sound like it's all doom and gloom, because tracking helps. There's a bright side of data. After all this critique, you might wonder, why track at all? Tracking can be a fantastic tool if used wisely. It's about who's in control. Does the tracker serve you, or do you serve the tracker? For beginners, when new to a sport, you might not have a good sense of your body's signals yet. Tracking can provide valuable feedback and help you learn. It can help you with fatigue management, tracking and preventing burnout. When preparing for any event, any race, watching my training load graph tipped me off when fatigue was accumulated too fast, helping me avoid injuries. The key is tracking intentionally. Track to inform yourself, not to judge yourself. The problems arise when tracking goes from helpful servant to a master, when we track for the sake of tracking, rather than using data mindfully. Recalibrating the relationship. Track to calibrate, not to validate. How do we build a healthier relationship with tracking tech? Here are takeaways that have helped me. Remember your why. Ask why you're tracking. Is it to gain insight? Great. Or is it because you feel anxious if you don't? That's the red flag. The watch isn't proud of you. You should be proud of you. Track to calibrate, not to validate. Use tracking to calibrate your internal sensors, not to validate your self-worth. Check in with your body before you check the app. How do I feel right now? Then look at the number as a secondary data point. Having healthy boundaries. I've gone months without wearing a watch, just basing everything on feel. And honestly, the first couple of weeks it felt hellishly weird. I wasn't used to it. I felt naked. But then over time, I started experiencing joy in my sessions. It became less about my mile pace, my heart rate, my zone 2, my zone 3, my watts, and it became about how do I feel when I'm doing this. Reclaiming the social media aspect. It's okay to make activities private or disconnect from friend leaderboards causing stress. Your journey is yours, not a constant public performance. And when it comes to doing the runs or even training, do something random. Go for a run just on a whim with no watch, nothing. Go to the gym and just spend an hour there, just enjoying your own presence. And when it comes to data, leverage the data for good, then let go of it. If you're sick or exhausted, don't worry about breaking a streak. Your health is not a video game combo to maintain. If you had a wonderful hike but forgot your phone, resist the thought that it was wasted. It still happened. You felt great. And that's what counts. We live in an incredible time where we can measure almost everything about ourselves. That could lead to a positive change, or it can become a trap of our own making. The dark psychology of tracking is real. These apps can hook us into a reward system, fuel our anxieties, and distort our motivations. But awareness is the first step to breaking that power. So check in with yourself. Ask, who's in charge here? If the answer isn't clear to you, then it's time to pause and reset. Use tracking when it helps illuminate something important. And when it starts to cast a shadow, it's time to put it away. In the end, the only health score that matters is how you actually feel and function in your life. No app can fully capture that. The best advice is the one between your ears and throughout your body, your own intuition and awareness. Use the numbers as gentle guides, not as judges of your worth. Your wellness is not on a spreadsheet or a video game. It's the quality of your human experience. So live it, feel it, be present for it. The data is just data. You are so much more. Thank you for listening. I'm Abraham Spring, and I'll see you around.